Good afternoon, my dear students and followers. This is video number 340, and in this video I am explaining one of the most interesting regression model which I have never done before, and I am using e-views to estimate and interpret its result. So before I do that, let me describe what does Midas means. So the abbreviation of Midas stands for Mixed Data Sampling Regression. So this is the description of Midas, Mixed Data Sampling Regression. So to do that, let us suppose I am going to use e-views and I have no data, but I am going to download data from the Federal Reserve Economic Database, and let us suppose that I am interested in regressing GDP, which is quarterly, and employment, which is monthly. So first of all, I will click on File, New, and Workfile, and then I will specify the date, that is 1985 till 2016. Since the GDP data is quarterly, so I'll specify quarterly series, and I'll give it a name, GDP quart, that is quarterly GDP data. I'll click OK. So I have this thing. Now I click on New Page, and again I'll specify by frequency and range. So this is the same range, but here I will change it to monthly observations, and I'll give the page name as EMP month, that is employment monthly data. So I'll click on this. So I have this. So one page I have GDP quart, and one page I have employment quart. Next, I have to bring data from the Federal Reserve Economic System database on both the variables. So I'll go to File, Open, and then under Open I'll click on Database, and then eView database, and I am interested in Federal Reserve database, and this is Federal Reserve database. Now I will click on OK. So here in this page I'll click on Browse, and then I'll click on All Series, and here I'll give the name GDP. So sorry, GDP, and the data will be, so I'm interested in this data. So let me open it, and I'll drag this here. This is my GDP, and next I'll bring data for the employment, and that is employment, and here is the data I'm interested in, this variable, and I'll drag this here, into this page. So yes, now I have these two data, and after this I'll create a new series for EMP, and that is equal D log PAYEMS times 100. This is the growth rate of employment. So here I go. Next I'll click on this, and here I create another series, DGDP, and that is equal to D log and GDP times 100, and this will give us a growth rate of GDP. Now I have two growth rates, that is growth rate of GDP and growth rate of employment. So first of all, I would like to estimate simple equation dg GDP dGDP dGDP on constant and EM, and then dGDP with leg, and finally I will write EMP month, that is the name of the page, slash EMP -1. So this is my equation number first, and here I have regressed the growth rate of GDP and growth rate of employment as well as the lagged value of GDP. I will save this equation as equation number 1, and after this I'll regress another equation. So I'll go to estimate equation, and again I'll use dGDP C dGDP -1, and I'll change this into Midas now. This time I'll change this into Midas, that is mixed data sampling regression, and here again I will write EMPMONTH slash EMP, and I'll take 5 legs, and I'll change this into 9. So this is my second equation, and now I have regressed dGDP, that is growth of GDP on GDP in its leg, and these are the 3 other coefficients with 5 legs, and I'll save this as equation 2, and I'll also estimate another equation, same dGDP C dGDP, and I'll change it into Midas again, and this time I'll write EMPMONTH slash EMP, and this is again 5. I'll change this into 9 by default, and here under option I'm using this step method, and that gives me another equation. This is the growth rate GDP estimate regressed on growth rate of GDP in its leg, and 3 other coefficients, and I'll give this name equation 03, and finally I'll estimate another equation of the same kind. First I'll change this into Midas, and here is my dGDP C dGDP -1, and here I write EMPMONTH slash EMP, and this time I'll okay, this is also with the 5 legs, and this will be changed into 9, and under the option this time I'm using the beta, that is the coefficients, and this will be a simple another. This is my equation number 4. Now this time I have slope and beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3 coefficients, and all of these are significant, at least at 5%, and let me save this as equation 4. So this is these are my 4 equations. So after that I would like to forecast the growth rate of GDP. So I'll click on this, and here is my data, and then I'll go to Prague, and under Prague I'll go to forecast averaging, and here I write equation 1, equation 02, equation 03, and equation 04, and I'll use a simple mean. The averaging method is simple mean, so I'll keep this, but here I'll change this. So I'm using 2015 quarter 4 and 2016 quarter 1. So I'm basically forecasting this growth of GDP series for these two quarter, that is 2015 quarter 4 and 2016 quarter 1. I'll click OK, and this is my forecasting. So if you look at this graph, this line, this blue line is the growth rate of GDP, and all others, this is one is orange is equation number 1, this is forecast value, and this green one is the equation number 2, and this red one is equation number 3, and this purple is equation number 4, and finally this one is the forecast GDP. So this is how we can use a mixed data sampling regression. The difference between this and the aggregation is that if we aggregate the GDP data, which is quarterly, and regress this on employment, which is monthly, that's not right. So I can do that using mixed data sampling regression, in which I regress like I did. So this is the correct method, and we can also use this for forecasting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very interesting for me also, because I am doing this for the first time, and I hope that my students, my follower, would like this, because a number of followers and subscribers have requested me to explain the estimation and interpretation of mixed data sampling regression. So if you have any question, kindly record your comments in the comment section, and I'll get back to you with my answer. Thank you, and see you again. Thank you for your attention, and if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, kindly do subscribe, and do not forget to click on the bell icon so that you can get notification about my other videos that will be uploaded for you. I thank you very much for liking and